no question, Basil. It's the best thing you've ever done. You'll have to send it to the Grosvenor. The Academy is too large and too vulgar. Whenever I've gone there, there have either been so many people that I've not been able to see the pictures, which was dreadful, or so many pictures that I've not been able to see the people, which was worse. The Grosvenor's really the only place.
I don't think I'll send it anywhere. No, I shan't send it anywhere.
My dear fellow, why? What an odd lot you painters are. You do anything in the world to gain a reputation, and then as soon as you've got one, you seem to want to throw it away.
I knew you'd laugh at me. It's just simply that I can't exhibit it. I put too much of myself into it.
You flatter yourself, my dear Basil. I don't see any resemblance between you and this remarkable creature. Real beauty ends where intellectual expression begins, which is yours. Intellect itself is a mode of exaggeration. It quite spoils the harmony of any face. You become all nose or all forehead or something horrid. Look at the successful men in any of the learned professions, except, of course, in the church. But then in the church, they don't think. A bishop keeps on saying at the age of 80 what he was told to say as a boy at the age of 18. So he's inclined to look fairly delightful. I'm sure the mysterious young fellow in that picture illustrates that. No, Basil, you don't resemble him in the least.
As a matter of fact, I should be sorry to look like him. You know, it's best not to be too different. The ugly and the stupid have the best of it in this world. They can sit at their ease and gape at the play. Your rank and wealth, Harry. My art, whatever that may be worth or not. Dorian Gray's looks, we shall all suffer for what the gods have loaded us with.
Dorian Gray? So that's his name?
Yes, I didn't mean to tell you.
But why not?
People I like, I never give their names. It's like giving them up. I've come to love secrecy. Do you know, it seems to be the one thing that can begin to make life better. I never tell people where I've gone to. I suppose you think that's absurd.
Not at all, my dear Basil. You seem to forget that I am married. And the one charm of marriage is that it makes a life of deception absolutely necessary for both parties. I never know where my wife is, and my wife never knows what I am doing. We tell each other the most absurd stories with the most serious faces. My wife's very good at it. Much better, in fact, than I am.
It's my belief that you're really a very good husband, but that you're thoroughly ashamed of your virtues. Your cynicism, Harry, is simply a pose.
Being natural is simply a pose, and the most irritating pose I know. Oh, do let's go outside. It's so stuffy in here. Basil, I want you to explain to me why you don't want to exhibit Dorian Gray's picture. I want the real reason.
I told you the real reason.
No. You said it was because you put too much of yourself into it, which is childish.
Harry, I think that every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist and not the sitter. He is merely the accident, the occasion.
I can believe anything, provided that it's quite incredible.
Well, simply, 2 months ago, I went to a crush at Lady Brandon's. Well, you know how we artists have to show ourselves in society every now and then, just to remind the public that we exist at all. Well, I'd been there about 10 minutes, and I suddenly became conscious of somebody looking at me. I turned around and I saw Dorian Gray for the first time. Our eyes met. And I can only tell you that a curious sensation of terror came over me. And something seemed to tell me that I was on the verge of some crisis in my life. I turned away to get out of the room. It wasn't conscience, but cowardice of some kind.
Conscience and cowardice are really the same thing, Basil. Conscience is simply the trade name of the firm, that's all.
I don't believe that, Harry, and I don't believe that you do either. Well, whatever it was, I tried to get out of the room. And then suddenly, I came face to face with this young man and his personality. We were quite close by this time, and I asked Lady Brandon to introduce me.
And how did she explain this extraordinary fellow? She generally treats her guests exactly like an auctioneer treats his goods. Either explains them completely away or tells one everything about them except what one wants to know.
Well, you are rather hard on her, Harry.
My dear friend, she tried to found a salon, only succeeded in opening a restaurant. How could one admire her? But tell me, what did she eventually say?
Well, something like, I don't know what he actually does. I don't think he does anything. Oh, yes, he plays the piano. Or is it the violin, Mr. Gray? Well, of course, we both started laughing. And we seemed to be friends right away.
Laughter isn't at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it's by far the best ending for one.
You don't know what friendship is, Harry. Or what enmity is, for that matter. You like everyone. That is to say, you're indifferent to everyone.
I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their good intellects. A man can't be too careful in his choice of enemies. I haven't one that's a fool. They're all men of some intellectual power, and consequently they all appreciate me. But tell me more about Dorian Gray.
He's absolutely necessary to my work. At the moment, almost daily. He's much more than a model or a sitter. I tell you, Harry, the work that I have done with him is the best work of my life.
Basil, this is extraordinary. I must see him.
He's simply an inspiration to me. You may see nothing in him. I think that I shall see everything, that's all.
Then why won't you exhibit the portrait?
Because there could seem to certain shallow prying eyes a certain artistic idolatry. We live in a time, Harry, when people think of art as a form of autobiography. I don't want that for him, or for myself.
Is he fond of you?
He likes me, I think. Though now and then he does seem to take a real delight in giving me pain. I flatter him.
Perhaps you will tire quicker than he will. Genius lasts longer than beauty.
No, I won't tire, Harry. You can't feel what I feel. You change too often.
Those who are always faithful know only the trivial side of love. It's the faithless who know its tragedies. Ah, I've just remembered.
What?
The name. My Aunt Lady Agatha told me that she discovered some wonderful young creature who was going to help her in the East End. She never said anything about his being good looking.
Harry, I don't want you to meet him.
What nonsense you do talk.
Dorian.
I beg your pardon, Basil. I didn't know you had anyone with you.
This is Lord Henry Wotton.
I've just been hearing from Basil what a fine sitter you are. You're also one of my aunt's favorite victims, I'm afraid.
I am in Lady Agatha's black books at present. I promised to go to a club with her in Whitechapel last Tuesday. Do you know, I really forgot all about it.
You look genuinely contrite about it. Oh, I will make your peace with my aunt. She's quite devoted to you. And I don't think it really matters about your not being there. You're too serious to go in for philanthropy, Mr. Gray. And profound.
Come inside, Dorian. And Harry, do go off to one of your do's or something.
It seems I'm unwanted.
Don't go. Basil is only in one of his starting order sulks, and besides, I'd like to know why you think I shouldn't go in for philanthropy.
You don't really mind, Basil, do you? You've often told me you like your sitters to have someone to chat to.
Well, there isn't much left to do, and Dorian's whims are laws to everyone except himself. So just sit, Harry. And Dorian, on with the coat. Onto the platform. And try not to move about too much today. And don't take any notice of what he says. He's a very bad influence on all of his friends, except me.
Is your influence really as bad as that?
There's no such thing as a good influence. All influence is immoral.
Why?
Because to influence someone is to give him one's soul, that he no longer thinks his natural thoughts or burns with his natural passions. He's become the echo of someone else's music, the actor of a part that has not been written for him. To realize one's own nature as perfectly as one can, that's what we are for. People have forgotten the highest of all duties, the duty one owes to oneself.
Dorian, your head a little on one side.
I still believe that if a man could live out his life fully and completely,
Yes?
give form to every thought, expression to every idea, and so on, well, the world might forget its past maladies. We are punished for our refusals. The body sins once and is done with it. It's in the brain and the brain alone that the great sins of the world take place. You must know that, Mr. Gray. I've had passions that made you afraid, thoughts that filled you with terror, daydreams and sleeping dreams.
Please stop. There's some answer to all you're saying, I know, but I can't find it for the moment. I'd like to think. Or not to. Basil, I'm getting weary standing up here.
Just a little longer.
It's so stifling in here.
I'm sorry. I tend to forget about these things when I'm working. That was better than ever. Stillness. I don't know what Harry's been saying to you, but you certainly...
Weren't being paid compliments, if that's what you mean.
Whatever it was, don't believe a word he says.
He's right. You are indeed a wonderful creation. You know more than you think you know, just as you know less than you want to know. You have the most marvelous youth, And that is the one thing worth having.
Well, I don't feel that way, Lord Henry.
Don't frown so, Mr. Gray. Beauty is a form of genius, higher, in fact. It requires no explaining. It's one of the great facts of the world. Like sunlight on water or the darkness of seasons. It makes princes of those who have it. You smile. Ah, when you've lost it, it will be no time to smile. The mystery of the world is in the visible, not the invisible. Yes, Mr. Gray, the gods have been good to you for the present. But don't squander the gold of your days. The moment I saw you, I knew that you were unconscious of what you might be. I felt I must tell you. Beauty fades, limbs fail, senses rot. Youth is absolutely nothing else in the world.
Dorian, I am waiting.
You are glad that you have met me, Mr. Gray?
Glad now. I wonder if I shall always be.
Always. What a dreadful word it is. Women are so fond of using it. They spoil every romance by trying to make it last forever. It's also a meaningless word. The only difference between a caprice and a lifelong passion is that the caprice lasts slightly longer.
In that case, perhaps our friendship should be a caprice.
It's done. No more, as I thought. It's quite done, just now.
Dear fellow, you must be over the moon. It's the most brilliant modern portrait I've ever seen. It really is. Mr. Gray, come over and look at yourself.
Is it really finished?
It's quite finished. Yeah, I didn't think we'd do anything today. Oh, darling, I can't tell you how grateful I am. It's as if it's done itself.
That's entirely due to me, isn't it?
Dorian, what is it? Don't you like it?
But of course he likes it. Who wouldn't? I'll give anything you like to ask for it, Basil. I must have it.
It's not my property, Harry.
Then whose property is it?
Dorian's, of course.
He's a very lucky fellow.
This picture will always remain young. It will never be older than this particular day in June. If only it could grow old instead of me. I would give my soul for that.
You'd hardly care for such an arrangement, would you, Basil? Rather hard lines on your work.
I should object very strongly.
I'm sure you would, Basil. You like your art better than your friends. I'm no more to you than one of your green bronze figures. Not as much, I should think.
Dorian, don't say things like that.
No, your picture has taught me. Lord Henry Wotton is perfectly right. When I do find I am growing old, I shall simply kill myself.
Dorian, listen to me. I've never had such a friend as you. You tell me that you could be jealous of material things in such a way? You're finer than any of them.
Yes, I'm jealous of that portrait. Why should it keep what I lose? Every moment it takes something from me. Why did you paint it? So that one day I shall be mocked by it?
Harry, this is your doing.
It is the real Dorian Gray, that's all.
It is not!
But then if it is not, what has it to do with me?
Well, I can't quarrel with my two best friends at once. You know, between you, you've made me hate the finest piece of work I've ever done. Well, it's only colour and canvas. I won't let it cut across our lives. I'll destroy it.
Don't, Basil, don't! It would be murder.
You appreciate my work? I was beginning to doubt it.
Appreciate it? It's part of myself. I feel it.
Well, when you're dry, you shall be varnished, framed, and sent home.
I wish you two wouldn't squabble over that picture. You'd much better let me have it, Basil. That silly boy doesn't really want it, and I really do.
If you let anyone but me have it, Basil, I'll never forgive you.
It's yours, you know that. I gave it you before it existed.
Why don't we go to the theatre tonight? There's sure to be something on somewhere. You too, Basil, won't you?
I can't. I've got too much work to do. Besides, I hate dressing up.
Then you and I shall go alone, Mr. Gray.
I shall stay with the real Dorian.
Is it the real Dorian? Am I really like that?
Yes, just like that. Don't go to the theatre tonight. Stay and dine with me.
I can't.
Why?
Because I promised to go to the theatre with Lord Henry.
He won't like you any better for keeping promises. Don't go. Please.
I'm going, Basil.
Very well. Then goodbye, Harry. Goodbye, Dorian. Come and see me soon. Come tomorrow.
Certainly.
You won't forget.
No, of course not.
I'll remind him. My handsome's outside, Mr. Gray. I can drop you off at your place. Goodbye, Basil. It's been such an interesting afternoon. Uncle George, I want to get something out of you.
Money, I suppose.
No, it isn't money I want. It's only people who pay their bills who want that, Uncle George, and I never pay mine. I always deal with Brother Dartmoor's tradesmen. Consequently, they never bother me at all. Now, what I want is information. Useless information, naturally.
Well, I can tell you anything that's in an English blue book. Ah, but these fellows write such a lot of nonsense nowadays. When I was in the diplomatic, things were much better. Now, I hear they let 'em in by examination. What do you expect? Examinations, sir, are pure humbug from beginning to end. If a man's a gentleman, he knows quite enough. And if he isn't a gentleman, whatever he knows is bad for him.
Mr. Dorian Gray does not belong to blue books, Uncle George. He's old Lord Kelso's grandson, and his mother was a Devereux, Lady Margaret Devereux. I want you to tell me about her. Who did she marry, for instance? You've known nearly everyone in your time.
Of course, I knew her. Extraordinarily beautiful girl. Made all the men frantic, running away with some penniless nobody, a subaltern in a foot regiment, something of the kind. Yes, poor chap was killed in a duel at Spa just afterwards. Ugly business. They did say Kelso got some Belgian brute to insult his son-in-law in public and then paid him to spit him like a pigeon. Oh. The thing was hushed up, but Kelso ate his chop alone in the club for a long time afterwards, I can tell you. Yes, it was a bad business. Kelso brought her back, but she never spoke to him again, and then she died herself before the year was out, just after that boy in there was born. Good-looking fella. Takes after his mother. Mind you don't go leading him astray, Harry. He should have some money waiting for him if Kelso does the right thing by him.
Yes, I fancy he's going to be well off.
She was the most glorious-looking creature I ever saw. Could have married anybody. But she was a romantic. All the women in that family were. The men were a poor lot, but the women were wonderful. Talking of silly marriages, what's all this fiddle-faddle I hear about Dartmoor marrying an American? Ain't English girls good enough for him?
It's rather fashionable to marry Americans just now, Uncle George.
I back English women against the world.
The betting is on the Americans.
They don't last, I'm told.
Long engagements exhaust them, but their capital at a steeplechase, they take things flying. I don't think poor Dartmoor has a chance.
Who are her people? She got any?
American girls are as clever at concealing their parents as English women are at concealing their past.
Pork packers, I suppose?
Oh, I hope so, Uncle George, for poor Dartmoor's sake. I am told that pork packing is the most lucrative profession in America after politics.
Is she pretty?
She behaves as if she were beautiful. All American women do, it's the secret of their charm.
Oh, why can't American women stay in their own country? They keep on telling us it's a woman's paradise.
It appears to be. That is why, like Eve, they're so anxious to get out of it.
Oh, poor Dartmoor. Do you think he really will marry this fascinating young person?
I believe she's made up her mind to propose to him, Duchess.
Oh, how dreadful. Really, somebody should interfere.
I'm told on excellent authority that her father keeps an American dry goods store.
Dry goods? What are American dry goods?
American novels.
Don't mind him, my dear. He never means anything he says.
When America was discovered...
I wish to goodness it had never been discovered at all. Really, our girls have no chance nowadays. It's most unfair.
Perhaps America has never been discovered. I would say it had merely been detected.
Oh, come. I've seen specimens of the inhabitants. They dress well, and most of them are extremely pretty. They get all their dresses in Paris. I wish I could afford to.
They say when good Americans die, they go to Paris.
And where do bad Americans go when they die?
They go to America.
Harry, I'm quite vexed with you. Why are you trying to persuade our Mr. Gray to give up the East End?
I can sympathize with everything except suffering.
Harry, the people in Whitechapel are utterly wretched and unhappy.
There's something terribly morbid about the cult of modern sympathy.
Come, Lord Henry.
No, I know I should sympathize with a man who has toothache, but I don't. He may be in dreadful pain, but I can't stand him and I can't go near him. I simply want to get away from him.
You can't get away from the East End. It's a very important problem.
Quite, it's the problem of slavery, and we try to solve it by amusing the slaves.
How would you change it then?
Well, I wouldn't change anything in England except the weather. The 19th century has gone bankrupt through an over-expenditure of sympathy.
How very comforting. I've always felt rather guilty when I came to see your dear aunt. You see, I take no interest in the East End either. In future, I shall be able to look at her without blushing.
But your blush is so very becoming, Duchess.
Ah, only when one was young. When an old woman blushes, it's not a good sign. Mr. Gray, I wish you could tell me how to become young again.
Can you remember any great errors that you committed in your early days?
Only too many.
Well, then commit them over again. To regain one's youth, one should repeat all one's follies.
What a delightful theory. I must put it into practice.
A dangerous theory.
It's one of the great secrets. People nowadays die of a sort of creeping common sense. They discover too late that the only things one never regrets are one's mistakes.
Oh, how annoying. I must go.
Oh, must you?
Yes, I must, dear. Lord Henry, you're quite delightful and dreadfully demoralizing.
Don't go yet, Edith.
Yes, I must go, dear Agatha. Goodbye. Lord Henry, you must come and dine with us some night.
For you, dear lady, I would throw over anybody.
That is very nice and very wrong of you. So mind you come Tuesday. Goodbye.
Bye. You talk books away, Lord Henry. Why don't you write one?
Oh, I'm far too fond of reading books to care to write one, Mr. Erskine. I should like to write a novel, certainly, but there's no public in England for anything except newspapers, reviews, primers, and encyclopedias. Of all the people in the world, the English have the least sense of literature.
I'm afraid you're right. I myself used to have literary ambitions, but I gave them up long ago. However, I would like to talk to you about life. The generation into which I was born was very tedious. And now I'm due at the Athenaeum. It's the hour when we sleep there.
All of you, Mr. Erskine?
Well, 40 of us in 40 armchairs.
Don't go, Harry. Stay and talk with me.
I thought you'd promised to go and see Basil Hallward.
I'd sooner be with you.
I've talked quite enough for one day, but just as you wish.
Tell me about your wife.
Tell you what,
I saw you together at Lohengrin the other night.
am I to take it that you're already interested in the practicality of marriage?
Yes, I am. Very much, sir.
Indeed. You must tell me about it.
If you remember, I was asking about your own wife.
Oh, Victoria. Oh, she's a curious woman. A mania for going to church. And her dresses always look as if they'd been designed and arranged and put on in the middle of a tempest. She's usually in love with someone, but as her passion is hardly ever returned, she's managed to keep most of her illusions. She does try to look picturesque, but always ends up looking untidy. Marriage? Never marry a woman with straw-colored hair, Dorian.
Why, Harry?
They're so sentimental.
But I like people to be sentimental.
My advice to you is, Dorian, don't marry at all. Men marry because they're tired. Women because they're curious. Both are disappointed.
My life, Harry, is not one of your aphorisms. I think I deserve better of you than that.
Who are you in love with?
An actress.
Oh, that's rather a commonplace debut.
Oh, you wouldn't say so if you saw her.
Who is she?
Well, her name, if that's what you mean, is Sybil Vane.
Never heard of her.
Oh, nobody has. But they will do. She's a genius.
How long have you known her?
About 3 weeks.
And where did you come across her?
I'll tell you, Harry. But you must listen, and listen properly. I think a little while ago, before I met you, it might never have happened at all. I had been walking about London. Just walking. Just looking and watching people I passed or who passed me. Some of them seemed fascinating simply to see. Some of the others terrified me and I'd hurry on without staying. Don't know what on earth I was expecting. Anyway, one night, I was out in the direction of your Aunt Agatha's famous East End. About 8:30, I passed by an absurd little theatre, all flaring gas jets and playbills. I looked at the programme, and it turned out that the play that night was Romeo and Juliet. Can't say I relished the idea of being confronted with Shakespeare in this odd little place, but by this time I'd got a bit interested in the atmosphere and thought I'd see out the first act. Romeo was like an old beer barrel, and Mercutio was played by the local comedian just in order to put in his favourite gags. And then Juliet came on. Harry, she was the loveliest thing I've ever seen in my life. You said to me once that pathos left you unmoved, but that beauty, something merely beautiful, could fill your eyes with tears. I tell you, Harry, I could hardly see this girl for the mist of tears that came across my line of sight. And when she spoke, her voice, I'd never heard anything like it. Can't forget it. The evening. I can't forget her. She's everything in life to me. Every night I go and watch her.
I see.
Harry, why didn't you tell me what it is? Loving an actress.
Because I've loved so many of them, Dorian. When one is in love, one always begins by deceiving oneself and always ends by deceiving other people. That is what is known in the world as romance.
Oh, Harry, Sybil is the only thing I care about now. One night I threw her some flowers and she looked up at me. At least I thought she did. Every night of my life I go to see her, and every night she's more marvelous.
That is the reason, I suppose, why you never dine with me now. I thought you must have some curious romance on hand. You have. But it's not quite what I expected.
Harry, I want you and Basil to come with me some night and see her. I'm not at all apprehensive. You'll see what I mean at once.
Oh, very well. Oh, today is what, Tuesday? Well, shall we fix tomorrow? What does she play tomorrow?
Juliet. All right, the Bristol at 8 o'clock, and I'll pick up Basil.
Oh, will you?
Poor Basil. I haven't seen him for a week at least. You know, it's rather awful of me. He sent me my portrait in a most wonderful frame which he specially designed himself. To tell you the truth, I'm a fraction jealous of the picture for being a whole month younger than me. Don't forget about tomorrow.
Mother, I'm so happy. You must see that. You do feel it. You do feel it.
Happy? Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about happy.
What is it that he sees in me? I don't even feel humble. I feel proud, Mother. Yes, terribly proud. How did you love Father? Forgive me. But don't look that way. I must be as happy as you ever were. Just let it go on.
Oh, my child, you're much too young to think of these things and what they entail. Well, what do you know of this young man? Not even his name. Oh, it all couldn't have happened at a worse time. What with James off to Australia. I must say, I do think you could have shown a little more consideration. I dare say he's rich, but what does that mean?
Don't say these things. Wait a moment while I change. Come in.
Oh, it's you, James.
Where's Sybil?
She's changing.
Are my things ready?
Quite ready. Well, I hope you take to the sea, James, or at least that it takes to you. You will remember, it was at your own choice. You could have been a solicitor if I'd had my way. Solicitors are a very respected class of people. In the country, they often dine with the best families.
I hate offices and I hate class. But you're quite right. I've chosen my own life. All I say to you is, keep a watch over Sybil. Don't let her come to any harm.
Oh, you do talk very funny sometimes, James. Of course I'll watch over Sybil. What else do you think I'll do?
I hear there's a gentleman. Comes every night to the theatre. Comes back here to talk to her. Is that right?
You're talking about things you simply don't understand, James. We're accustomed to receiving a great deal of attention in the profession. It's something you've never really understood. And many don't, or won't. Used to happen to me all the time. And that's when acting was really understood. As for Sybil, I've no way of knowing whether this present attachment of hers is serious or not. But all I do know is that the young man in question is a perfect gentleman. He's always most polite to me. And he has all the air of being very rich indeed.
But you don't know his name.
No. No, he hasn't yet revealed his real name, I confess that. I think it's quite romantic of him. I'd say he's probably a member of the aristocracy.
Just watch over her. Mother, you've got to watch over her.
Why are you talking to me like this? I've always looked after Sybil from first to last. And if he is a worthy gentleman, there's no reason why she shouldn't contract an alliance with him. Especially if he is a member of the aristocracy. And he has all the appearance of it, I must say. It'd be a brilliant marriage for Sybil. They'd be quite a couple. His looks are really remarkable. Everybody notices them.
Oh, how serious you both look. What's the matter now?
Nothing. Goodbye, Mother.
Oh, goodbye, son. Take care in all that wet weather. I'll see you later, Sybil, dear. I'll get a drop for both of us round the corner.
All right. Everything will be all right for both of us. You'll come back from Australia with everything you want, and I'll be here in London with everything I want. We'll all be together, and that's what life will be like. Jim, you're not listening to a word I'm saying. I've just set out the most exquisite plans for both of us. Now say something to me, please.
What would you like me to say?
Just that you'll be a good boy and not forget us.
I think you're more likely to forget me than I am to forget you, Sybil.
What do you mean?
You have a new friend, I hear. Who is he? Why haven't you introduced me to him? Does he mean you any good?
Stop it. You're not to say anything against him. I love him.
Someone whose name you don't even know? Who is he? I've a right to know.
If only you could see him, you'd think him the most wonderful person in the world. Someday we will. When you come back from Australia, you'll like him so much. Everybody does. And I love him. I just wish you could come to the theatre tomorrow. He's going to be there, and I'm playing Juliet. What about that? To be in love and play Juliet. I shall probably frighten the company to death. Dear Jim, you are leaving me when I'm happier than I've ever been before. Life's been hard for both of us, but it'll be different now. You're going to a new world, and mine's already found.
Well, mine isn't, and I don't believe in yours. I wish to God I did.
Love makes people good.
Do you believe that? I'm going. But I tell you this. If he ever does you any wrong, I shall kill him.
Come on.
Engaged to be married? I don't believe it.
It's perfectly true.
To whom?
Some little actress or other.
I don't believe it. Dorian's far too sensible.
Dorian's far too wise not to do foolish things now and then, my dear Basil.
Marriage is hardly a thing one can do now and then, Harry.
Except in America. And I didn't say he was married. I said he was engaged to be married. There's a great difference.
But one only has to think of Dorian's birth and position and wealth. To marry a girl like that is unthinkable.
If you want to make him marry this girl, tell him just that. He's quite sure to do it then. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it's so often from the noblest motives.
Well, I hope she's all right.
Oh, she's better than all right. She's beautiful. Dorian says she's beautiful, and he's not often wrong about that sort of thing. You know, your portrait of him has quickened his appreciation altogether, especially about people's personal appearance. And that's not the only effect it's had on him. Anyhow, you and I, are going to see her tonight. That is, provided Dorian hasn't forgotten all about us in his delirium.
Harry, you're not serious.
I think I should be miserable if I was ever more serious than I am at this moment.
But you can't possibly approve of this business. It's an infatuation, surely.
I neither approve or disapprove of anything now. It's an absurd attitude to take towards life. Dorian meets a beautiful girl who happens to play Juliet and falls in love with her. Well, why not? I, for one, hope that he will make this girl his wife, passionately adore her for 6 months, and then suddenly become fascinated by somebody else.
Harry, you don't believe a single word of that. If anything happened to upset Dorian Gray's life, no one would be more upset than you. You're much better than you pretend to be.
The reason we like to think so well of others is because we're afraid for ourselves. We praise the banker in order that he may allow us to overdraw our account, or even try and find good qualities in the burglar in the hope that he'll leave our property alone. I mean everything I've said. I've nothing but the greatest contempt for optimism.
Harry, my dear Basil, you must both congratulate me. I've never been so happy. Of course, it's sudden and all that, but all the really delightful things are. It seems to be the one thing I've been looking for all my life.
Well, I hope you'll always be as happy as this, Dorian, but, you know, I don't know whether I can quite forgive you for not letting me know about your engagement. You told Harry.
Yes, and I don't quite forgive you for being late. Now, come and sit down, Dorian, and tell me what it is that's been making you so happy.
Well, there isn't really very much to tell. After I left you yesterday evening, Harry, I went down and had some dinner at that little Italian restaurant in Rupert Street you introduced me to, and at 8 o'clock went down to the theatre. Sybil was playing Rosalind. Of course, the scenery was dreadful and the Orlando absurd, but Sybil, you should have seen her. Of course, our engagement's a dead secret. I shouldn't be telling you all this, but I can't help it.
At what particular point did you mention the word marriage, Dorian? And what did she say in reply? Or perhaps you've forgotten all about it.
My dear Harry, I didn't treat it as a business transaction. And I suppose I never made any formal proposal.
Well, what did you say then?
That I loved her, of course. She said, oh, something about not being worthy to be my wife. Something like that.
Women are wonderfully practical. Much more practical than we are. In situations of that kind, we so often forget to say anything about marriage, and they always remind us.
Leave it alone, Harry. You're only annoying, Dorian.
Dorian is never annoyed with me.
No, I don't mind. It's impossible to be angry with you. When you see Sybil Vane, then you will know that anyone who could consider wronging her would be a monster without a heart at all. I can't understand how anyone wants to degrade the thing he loves. I never have. I love Sybil Vane. When I am with her, I regret everything else I've ever learned. The simplest touch of her hand makes me forget you and all your theories about life, love, and pleasure.
Pleasure is the only thing worth having a theory about. Believe me, no civilized man ever regrets a pleasure. And no uncivilized man ever really knows what a pleasure is.
I know what it is. It's to adore someone.
Ah, that's better than being adored. It's a downright nuisance. When women worship someone, they're always bothering them to do something for them.
Well, I should have thought that whatever they ask for, they've already given first. They create love in one's nature. They've a right to demand it back.
That's quite true.
Nothing is ever quite true.
Well, this is. Can't you admit, Harry, that women give men the very essence of themselves?
Possibly, but they invariably want it back in such very small change. That's the worry. Women, some witty Frenchman once put it, only inspire us to do masterpieces and then always prevent us from carrying them out.
I don't know why I like you at all.
You will always like me, Dorian. I represent to you all the sins that you have never had the courage to commit. And now, after all that, you must have a cigarette. A cigarette is the perfect type of the perfect pleasure. It's delicious, and it leaves one unsatisfied. What more can one ask?
What utter rubbish you do talk, Harry. Come on, let's get down to the theatre.
Just give me a moment, Dorian.
When Sybil Vane comes on the stage, then it will be your turn to find a new ideal of life. She may represent something that even you have never experienced.
I have known everything, but I'm always ready for a new emotion. I'm afraid that in this case, however, there's no such thing. Still, your wonderful girl may be thrilling at the very least. I love acting. So much more real than real life. Well, let's go then, Dorian. You come with me. No, Basil, there's only room for 2 of us in the brougham. You can follow in a hansom.
I'm most awfully sorry I made you both waste an evening. I apologize.
My dear Dorian, I expect Miss Vale is probably ill. We'll come again some other night.
No, I wish she were ill, but she's simply callous and cold. She's altered entirely. Last night I thought she was a great artist. This evening she's merely commonplace and mediocre.
Don't talk like that, Dorian, about anyone that you love. Love is a more wonderful thing than art.
They are both simply forms of imitation.
Don't pay any attention to him, I beg of you. I see what you mean, and I believe in her. Anyone that you love must be marvelous. And any girl that can produce the effect that you described to us must be very extraordinary and unique. To have produced that effect in you, why, that is worth doing in itself. Your idea of marriage is quite right. I didn't think so at first, but now I admit it freely. Sybil Vane was made for you. Without her, you would have probably been incomplete for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Basil. I knew you would at least try to understand.
I think we should go. And you too, Dorian. It isn't good for one's morals to see bad acting. Besides that, I suppose you'll want to see your wife act much longer. So what does it matter if she plays Juliet like a wooden doll? She's very lovely indeed. And if she knows as little about life as she does about acting, she'll be a delightful experience. Now, my dear boy, don't look so tragic. Come and drive down to the club with Basil and me, and we'll drink a toast to the beauty of Sybil Vane. She is beautiful. What more can you want?
Please go, Harry. Take him with you, Basil.
Oh, Harry.
Dorian, I acted so badly tonight.
Horribly. You were dreadful. Are you ill or something? Haven't you any idea what it was? You obviously have no idea what I went through.
Dorian, you should have understood. But you understand now, don't you?
Understand what?
Why I was so bad tonight. Why I shall always be bad. Why I shall never be any good again.
You are ill. When you're ill, you shouldn't go on. You make yourself ridiculous. My friends were bored. I was bored.
Dorian, before I knew you, acting was the one reality of my life. I only lived for the theatre. I thought it was all true what went on. And then you came. Oh, my dearest, you freed me from all that. You taught me reality. Tonight, for the first time in my life, I saw the hollowness of everything I devoted myself to. You'd made me understand what love really is. Take me away, Dorian. Take me away with you where we can be quite alone. I hate the stage. You see what a blasphemy it would be to play at being in love.
You have killed all that. Yes, you killed it. You used to stir my imagination. Now you don't even stir my curiosity. In fact, you produce no effect on me at all. I loved you because you were a marvelous thing. Because you seemed to give substance to all things I'd ever dreamed of. You have thrown that away. You are shallow. You are stupid. My God, what could I have been thinking of? You are a nothing. I'll never see you again. I'll never think of you. I'll even forget your name. I only wish I'd never laid eyes on you. And what little you know about love if you say it mars your art. Without your art, you're nothing. I would have made you famous, splendid, magnificent. You'd have been worshipped by everyone, and my name would have been on you. What are you now? A third-rate actress with a pretty face.
You're not serious, Dorian. You're acting.
Acting? I leave that to you. You do it so well.
Dorian!
Never touch me again.
Dorian! Dorian, don't hit me. I'm so sorry I didn't act well. I was thinking of you all the time. But I will try, believe me, I will. It came so suddenly across me, all my love. I'll work hard. I'll improve. Don't be cruel to me because I love you better than anything in the world. After all, it's only once I haven't pleased you. But you're quite right, Dorian. I should have shown myself more of an artist more. It was foolish of me, and yet I couldn't help it. Oh, don't leave me. Don't leave me.
There's always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has ceased to love. I'm going now. I don't wish to be unkind, but I can't see you again. You have disappointed me. That is all.
rang, monsieur?
No. Of course I didn't ring. Oh, yes, I did.
It's too cold for monsieur. Shall I close the window?
No, I'm not cold. Yes, shut it.
Will there be anything else, monsieur?
What? Did you see that Miss Vane got my letter?
I delivered it myself, monsieur. Although the house was very difficult to find.
Well, did you give it to her personally?
No, monsieur, but I gave it to someone who called herself the landlady. She seemed rather cross at being disturbed, but she promised it would be delivered into the right hands.
Very well, Victor. I'm not at home to anyone except Miss Vane.
And Lord Henry, monsieur.
What about him? I told you I'm only at home to Miss Vane. Do you remember that, Victor? Miss Sybil Vane.
It's just that his man brought round a letter first thing this morning, monsieur. It was marked urgent. I left it on your breakfast tray.
Yes, I got it. Well, it can't be that important. I'll read it later. Don't forget to let her in at once. That's all.
Yes, monsieur.
It's very important. I have to see him. It's ridiculous. But I can't ignore him. I've got to see him. Dorian, Dorian! Are you there? Open the door. I must speak to you. My dear boy, I had to see you. Forgive me for the thought of your shutting us up like this. I'm so terribly sorry for you about it all, Lord Dorian, but you simply mustn't. You mustn't sit alone here brooding about it.
You mean about Sybil Vane?
Yes, of course, the whole thing's tragic from every point of view, but you simply mustn't think of it as your fault. Tell me, did you stay with her long after we both left?
A while.
I knew you would. Was there a scene?
I was brutal. Yes, brutal and unforgivable, but that is over now. I'm not even sorry now for what happened, except for the pain I caused. At least it has taught me to know myself.
Ah, Dorian, I'm glad you couldn't look on it like that. I was afraid I'd find you in despair.
No, that is all over. I'm as happy as I shall ever be. For one thing, I know what conscience is, and don't swear at that anymore, not in front of me. I can see through it. I would like to be good as much as I can. I can't face the idea of my inner self being hideous any longer.
Ah, and how do you propose to start this moral regeneration?
By marrying Sybil Vane.
Marrying Sybil Vane? But
Yes,
Dorian,
Harry, I know what you're going to say. Something tiresomely sarcastic about marriage. Well, don't. I've written again to Sybil since last night, and I've asked her again to marry me, if she'll have me. My mind's made up. She's going to be my wife.
Dorian, my note, didn't you get it? I sent it down early this morning by my own man.
Your note? Oh, yes, I did get it, but I didn't read it. My mind was on Sybil.
You know nothing then?
Nothing.
Dorian, don't be afraid. That letter was to tell you that Sybil Vane is dead.
How dare you? That's the most horrible lie you've ever perpetrated.
I'm sorry, Dorian, but it's quite true. It's in all the morning newspapers. I thought you'd have seen them by now. That's why I wrote you that note telling you not to admit anyone till I came round. There'll be an inquest, of course, but naturally you must not be mixed up in it. If anybody should have heard your name by any chance at the theatre, like the girl's mother, for instance, that can all be arranged. These things always can be. In France, it might make a man seem fashionable. But in London, people are so prejudiced. Here, one should never make one's debut with a scandal. One should keep that in reserve to give an interest to one's old age. I'm sure that nobody can have recognized either of us in that little place.
Recognized? Inquest? What do you mean? Do you mean that Well, tell me the whole thing.
I'm afraid there's no question of it being an accident, Dorian. Though, of course, it could be put that way to the public, and we all know they can be made to believe anything. Well, I won't bother you with the details now. You can read them all later, but it seems she was found dead on her dressing room floor. The newspapers say that she had swallowed something by mistake. Something they use in theaters for some reason. I don't know what it was, but it had either prussic acid or white lead in it. I should fancy it was prussic acid, as she seems to have died instantaneously.
Well, that is something, but not very much all the same.
Yes, 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 it's very tragic, but you must not allow yourself to be mixed up in it. The Morning Post says that she was 17. I should have thought she was even younger than that. She looked such a child. Dorian, you're not to allow this thing to bring you down. I'll tell you what you will do. This evening you will come and dine with me. And afterwards we will look in at the opera. Yes, the opera. It's a party night, and everyone will be there. You can come to my sister's box. She'll have some smart women with her.
Sir, I have murdered Sybil Vane. Just as if I'd cut her throat myself with a knife. The sun shines and the birds sing. And tonight I'm going to dine with you, then go on to the opera and sup somewhere afterwards. How extraordinarily theatrical this would have seemed if one had watched it happen. Somehow, now that it has happened actually, and to me, it all seems too much to contemplate at one time. That was the first real love letter I've ever written in my life. The first. And that to a girl already dead. Did I really love her? Last night she tried to explain herself to me, but I wasn't moved one bit. She just seemed shallow to me. And then afterwards, something made me feel afraid. I don't know what it was, but it was horrible. I knew I'd done wrong, that I'd have to go back. Well, there she is, dead. My God, Harry, what shall I do? I don't think you know the danger I'm in, and there's nothing to keep me straight. Perhaps she could have done that for me. She'd no right to kill herself, no right.
My dear Dorian, the only way that a woman can reform a man is by boring him so completely that he loses all interest in life. If you had married this girl, you'd have been utterly wretched. Of course you'd have treated her kindly. One can always be kind to people for whom one cares nothing. But she'd have soon found out that you were absolutely indifferent to her. And when a woman finds that out about her husband, well, I can only say that in any case, the whole thing would have been a complete failure.
Yes, I suppose it would. Harry, why is it that I can't feel all of this as much as I want to? I know that I'm not heartless. Do you think I am?
There's always some luxury to be had in self-reproach. But in this particular case, what is it that's happened? A girl has killed herself for love of you. I wish such a thing had ever happened to me. It would make me in love with love for the rest of my life. The people who have adored me, there have not been very many, but there have been some, have always insisted on going on long after I had ceased to care for them or they to care for me. The only charm of the past is that it is the past.
I was inhumanly cruel to her. You seem to forget that.
I'm afraid that women appreciate cruelty, downright cruelty, more than anything else. They have wonderfully primitive instincts. We may emancipate them, but they remain slaves looking for their masters all the same.
I wonder if you know me as well as you seem to think, Harry.
Now, Dorian...
I don't want us to talk about this again, ever. It has been an experience, that is all. I cannot think there can be much else in store.
There is everything in store for you, Dorian. With all the gods have given you, there is nothing that you will not be able to do. And now you better dress and drive down to the club. We're rather late as it is.
No, I feel too tired to eat anything. I think I shall join you at the opera. What is the number of your sister's box?
Oh, 27, I believe. It's on the grand tier. You will find her name on the door. But I'm sorry you won't dine with me first.
I don't feel up to it. But I'm awfully obliged to you. For everything.
We're only at the beginning of our friendship, Dorian. Goodbye. I shall see you before 9:30, I hope. Remember, Patty is singing.
You rang, monsieur?
Yes. I shall be going to the opera this evening, Victor.
Oh, well, monsieur, I'll put out your clothes.
No, later will do. In the meantime, I want you to go round to Mr. Hubbard. He is the frame maker in South Audley Street. I have some pictures I want his advice about.
I know the gentleman.
Tell him it's most important, and I shall like him to come round as soon as possible. That's all. Oh, ask Mrs. Leaf to give you the key of the schoolroom.
The old schoolroom, monsieur. So long since anyone went in there, it must be full of dust. I'm sure it's not fit for you to look at, monsieur. I'll see to it that she puts it in order before you go in there.
I don't want it put in order, Victor, by you, Mrs. Leaf, or anyone else. I simply want the key. Do you understand that?
Just as you wish, monsieur. I thought you might be covered in cobwebs if you went in there. Mrs. Leaf tells me it hasn't been open for nearly 5 years.
Well, that is unimportant. I simply want to see the place, that's all.
Yes, monsieur. Oh, Mr. Hallward is waiting to see you. Shall I send him in?
Yes. And then get off to the frame makers.
Thank you, Victor. Oh, Dorian, I'm so glad to find you in. I met Harry outside in the street. He seemed bland about the whole affair. This must be awful for you. I thought you might be with the police or something.
Why should I be with the police?
Oh, and he said something about you actually going to the opera. Well, of course, I didn't believe that. Dorian, I hope you don't get too involved.
Involved? Why should I be involved?
Well, you should know that better than I.
As a matter of fact, I am going to the opera.
You are going to the opera?
Yes. Why don't you come? I'm meeting Lady Gwendolen, Harry's sister, for the first time. We're all meeting in her box.
Dorian, Sybil Vane is lying dead in some lodging house, and you tell me that you're going to the opera? The girl you love hasn't even yet found a grave to crawl into, for all we know.
Don't talk about horrid subjects, Basil. What is past is past.
You called yesterday the past?
All I know is that I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate.
Something has changed you. To me, you look the same creature that used to day after day come to my studio, but then you were simple, natural, affectionate. But now I don't know what's come over you. You talk as if you had no heart, no pity in you. Is it Harry's influence?
I owe a great deal to him, Basil, more than I do to you. You only taught me to be vain.
Yes, well, I'm being punished for that.
I don't know what you mean, or what you want. What do you want?
I want the Dorian I used to paint.
When I heard that Sybil Vane had killed herself...
Killed herself? You mean there isn't any doubt about it?
Well, surely you don't think it was a vulgar accident. Of course she killed herself.
Dorian, how awful.
There's nothing awful about it. It's one of the great romantic tragedies of the age. As a rule, people who act lead the most commonplace lives. They are good husbands or faithful wives or something tedious. You know what I mean? Middle-class virtue and all that. How different Sybil was to that. She lived her finest tragedy. She was always a heroine. The last night she played, the night you saw her, she acted badly because she'd known the reality of love. When she knew its unreality, she died, as Juliet might have died. Her death has all the pathetic uselessness of martyrdom, all its wasted beauty. I know you are surprised at me talking to you like this, Basil. You have not realized how I have developed. To become the spectator of one's own life, as Harry says, is to escape the suffering of life. Don't leave me, Basil. And don't let's quarrel. I am what I am. There's nothing more to be said.
Well, Dorian, I won't mention this again after today. I only hope they don't mention your name in connection with it. Now, the inquest is this afternoon. Have they summoned you?
You must do me a drawing of Sybil. I should like something more of her than the memory of a few kisses and a few words.
I'll do what I can, Dorian, if it will please you. But you must come and sit to me again. I can't get on without you.
I can never sit to you again, Basil. It is impossible.
Oh, my dear boy, what nonsense. Why didn't you like what I did of you? Why have you put the screen in front of it? You know, it is the best thing I have ever done. Let me have a look at it.
Basil, you must not look at it. I don't wish you to.
Not look at my own work? Are you serious? Why shouldn't I look at it?
Don't! If you try to look at it, Basil, on my word of honor, I will never speak to you again. I'm quite serious. I don't offer any explanation, and you are not to ask for any, but remember, if you touch that screen, everything is over between us.
Dorian.
Don't speak.
But what's the matter? Well, of course I won't look at it if you don't want me to, but really, this is rather absurd that I shouldn't look at my own work, particularly as I'm going to exhibit it in Paris this autumn.
You want to exhibit it?
Oh, yes, Georges Petit is going to collect all my best pictures for a special exhibition at the Rue de Sèze.
Well, you told me a month ago you'd never exhibit it. You can't have forgotten you assured me most solemnly that nothing in the world could induce you to send it to any exhibition. You told Harry exactly the same thing. Basil.
Yes?
We have each of us a secret. Let me know yours and I shall tell you mine. What was your reason for refusing to exhibit my picture?
Just answer me one question. Have you ever noticed in the picture something curious? Something that perhaps at first didn't strike you and then suddenly revealed itself to you? I see that you did. Don't speak. Wait till you hear what I have to say. Dorian, from the first moment I met you, your personality had the most extraordinary effect on me. I was dominated, soul, brain, and power by you. You became for me the visible incarnation of that unseen ideal. I worshipped you. I grew jealous of anyone that you spoke to. I wanted to have you all to myself. I was only happy when I was with you. When you were away from me, you were still present in my work. If I could never tell you this, you would not have understood. I hardly understood myself. I only know, and I knew then, that I had seen perfection face to face, and that the world had become wonderful in my eyes. Too wonderful, perhaps, for in such worship there is danger. Weeks and weeks went on, and I grew more and more absorbed. As I was painting, every flake and film of color seemed to reveal my love for you. You see, I felt I'd told too much, that I'd put too much of myself into it. And then it was that I decided that the picture could never be exhibited. But when I got this offer from Paris, I thought perhaps I'd been foolish in imagining that I'd seen anything more in it. So I determined to make your portrait this principal thing in my exhibition. It never occurred to me that you would refuse. I see now that you were right. The picture can never be shown. Dorian, you have been the one person who has really influenced my art. Anything that I have done that is good, I owe to you. Oh, you don't know. You just don't know what it cost me to tell you that.
My dear Basil, what have you told me? Merely that you felt you admired me too much. That is not even a compliment.
It wasn't intended as a compliment. It was a confession. And now that I've made it, something seems to have gone out of me.
It was a very disappointing confession.
Oh, what did you expect? You didn't see anything else in the picture, did you? There was nothing else to see?
No. There's nothing else to see. Why do you ask? Basil, you and I are friends. We always will be.
You have Harry?
Oh, Harry. Harry spends his days in saying what is incredible and his evenings in doing what is improbable. But I don't think I'd go to Harry if I were in trouble, Basil. I'd sooner come to you.
You will sit to me again.
It's impossible. There is something fatal about a portrait. It has a life of its own.
Well, I'm sorry that you won't let me look at it once more. But that can't be helped. And I do understand how you feel. Goodbye, Dorian. It's all right. I'll see myself out.
I've obtained the key to the schoolroom for Mrs. Leaf, monsieur.
Very well. Leave it on the table. That's all.
Oh, yes, only the person from the frame makers is here, monsieur.
Mr. Hubbard,
Yes, monsieur.
ask him to wait a few moments. I'll call him myself when I want him.
Will there be anything else, monsieur?
Yes, when Mr. Hubbard is gone, you can put out my clothes for the evening. I shall want to see him alone. Is there another key existing to the schoolroom?
Mrs. Leaf tells me it is the only one, monsieur. She's most anxious to clean it.
Yes, thank you, Victor. That will be all. Coming, coming.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gray.
I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Hubbard. I was feeling a little unwell. How kind of you to come so soon.
Always a pleasure to do anything for you, sir. Always. Drop anything, as they say, to oblige a gentleman like yourself. What can I do for you, sir? I thought I would do myself the honor of coming in person. I've just got a beauty of a frame, sir. Picked it up at a sale. Old Florentine. Came from Fonthill, I believe.
I'm so sorry you gave yourself the trouble of coming round, Mr. Hubbard. I shall certainly drop in and look at the frame. But today, I only want a picture carried to the top of the house for me. It is rather heavy, so I thought I would ask you to lend me a couple of your men.
Oh, there'll be no trouble there, sir. Delighted to be of any service to you. Which is the work of art, sir?
This. Can you move it? As it is. Cover and all. I don't want to get it scratched going upstairs.
Oh, there'll be no difficulty there, sir. Would you and I?
Yes. You and I can manage well enough. Yeah. Lift.
Now, where shall we carry it to, sir?
Well, if you'll follow me, Mr. Hubbard, I'll show you the way. I'm afraid it is rather heavy. It's on the top floor. We'll go up by the front staircase. It's wider. There we are. Don't mind the stairs, Mr. Hubbard.
Oh, yes, sir.
Put it against the wall over here. I don't want to have it hung. That'll do. Thank you.
Might one look at the work of art?
No, it would not interest you, Mr. Hubbard. I shan't trouble you any more now. I'm much obliged for your kindness in coming round.
Not at all, sir, not at all. Ever ready to be of any service.
What an extraordinary bit of luck running into you in Grosvenor Square like that. You know, I was here earlier. I waited for you for hours. Finally, I took pity on your tired servant and told him to go to bed. I hope you don't mind. I'm off to Paris on the midnight train, and I particularly wanted to speak to you before I left.
My dear Basil, what is it all about? I hope it is not about myself. I am tired of myself tonight. I should like to be somebody else.
It is about yourself. I think it is right that you should know some of the dreadful things that are being said against you in London.
I don't wish to know anything about them. Scandals about other people I love. Scandals about myself don't interest me.
Ah, that's Harry.
Brandy?
Thank you. They must interest you, Dorian. Mind you, I mean, I don't believe these rumors at all. At least I can't believe them when I see you. Sin is a thing which writes itself across a man's face. It cannot be hidden. Some people talk of secret vices. There are no such things. If a wretched man has a secret, it shows itself in the lines of his mouth, the drooping of his eyes, the molding of his hands. But when I see your bright, innocent face, I can't believe anything against you. Mind you, I very seldom see you nowadays, and you never come down to my studio. And when I hear these These hideous things that are being whispered against you. I don't know what to say. Why is it, Dorian, that a man like the Duke of Berwick leaves the room of a club when you enter it?
Basil, stop. You are talking of things you know nothing about. You ask me why Berwick leaves the room when I enter it. It is because I know everything about his life, not because he knows anything about mine. I know how people chatter in this country. In England, it is enough for a man to have brains and distinction for every common tongue to wag against him. And what sort of lives do these people who pose as being moral lead themselves? My dear fellow, you forget that we are in the native land of the hypocrite.
That is not the question. England is bad enough, and English society is all wrong. That is why I want you to be fine. But you have not been fine, Dorian. One has the right to judge a man by the effect he has over his friends. Don't shrug your shoulders. Don't be indifferent. Listen to me, Dorian! They say that you corrupt everyone with whom you become intimate, that it is sufficient for you to enter a house for shame of some kind to follow after. I don't know whether this is true or so. I don't know. Know you? Do I know you? I wonder. To answer that, I would have to see your soul.
To see my soul?
But only God can do that.
You shall see it yourself. Tonight. Come. It is your own handiwork. Why shouldn't you look at it? You can tell the world all about it afterwards if you choose. Nobody would believe you. If they did believe you, they would like me all the better for it. I know the age better than you do, though you prate about it so tediously. Come, I tell you, you have chatted enough about corruption. Now you shall look on it face to face.
Don't say things like that, Dorian. They don't mean anything.
You think so? Come upstairs, Basil. I keep a diary of my life from day to day, and it never leaves the room in which it is written. I shall show it to you if you come with me.
Well, I've already missed my train. That doesn't matter. I can go tomorrow, but don't ask me to read anything, Dorian. All I want is a plain answer to my question.
That shall be given to you. Upstairs. I could not give it to you here. You will not have to read long. It is my birthday. Tomorrow you shall have lost your train. You insist on knowing?
Yes, I do.
I'm delighted. You are entitled to know whatever there is to know. You still think only God sees such things? Draw back the curtain.
You're mad, Dorian, or you're playing a part.
You won't. Then I shall. It's too late for prayer, Basil, if that's what you're thinking of.
Ah! Kneel! Dorian! Kneel!
I told you, Basil, prayer comes too late.
Dorian! Oh, Dorian.
Good evening, sir. I'm sorry.
No, Francis, it is I who I'm sorry. I seem to have forgotten my latchkey. What time is it?
10 minutes past 2, sir.
10 minutes past 2. How dreadfully late. You must wake me at 9 tomorrow, Francis. I have some work to do.
All right, sir.
Did anyone call this evening?
Mr. Hallward, sir. He stayed here till 11, then he went away to catch his train.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see him. Did he leave any message?
No, sir, except to say that he would write to you from Paris if he could not find you at the club.
Very good, Francis. Don't forget to wake me at 9 tomorrow.
No, sir.
Oh, yes, Francis, tomorrow. Tomorrow I shall want to see Alan Campbell of 152 Hertford Street, Mayfair. If he is out of town, I want his address. You understand?
Very good, Mr. Gray.
Good night, Francis.
Good night, sir. Mr. Campbell, sir.
Ask him to come in at once, Francis.
Mr. Alan Campbell, sir.
Alan, this is kind of you. I thank you for coming.
I had intended never to enter your house again, Gray. You said it was a matter of life and death.
Yes, Alan, it is a matter of life and death, and to more than one person. Sit down. Alan, in a locked room at the top of this house, a room to which nobody but myself has access, there is a dead man. He has been dead some hours now. Don't stir and don't look at me like that. Who the man is, why he died, how he died, are matters that do not concern you. What you have to do is this.
Stop, Gray. I don't want to know anything more. Whether what you've told me is true or not doesn't concern me. I entirely decline to be mixed up in your life. Keep your horrible secrets to yourself. They don't interest me anymore.
They will have to interest you, Alan. This one will have to interest you. I am sorry for you, Alan. But I can't help myself. You are the one man who is able to save me. I am forced to bring you into the matter. I have no option, Alan. You are scientific. You know about chemistry and things of that kind. You have made experiments. What you have got to do is to destroy the thing that is upstairs. Destroy it so that not a vestige of it will be left. Nobody saw this person come into the house. Indeed, at the present moment, he is supposed to be in Paris. He will not be missed for months. When he is missed, there must be no trace of him found here.
You're mad, Dorian.
I was waiting for you to call me Dorian.
You're mad, I tell you. Mad to imagine that I would raise a finger to help you. Mad to make this monstrous confession. I will have nothing to do with this matter, whatever it is. Do you think I will imperil my reputation for you? What's it to me what devil's work you're up to?
It was suicide, Alan.
Suicide? Well, I'm glad to hear it. And who drove him to it? You, I shouldn't fancy.
Do you still refuse to do this for me?
Yes, of course I refuse.
Alan, it was murder. I killed him.
Murder? Good God, Dorian, is this what you've come
You don't know what he had made me suffer.
Look, I'll not inform upon you, but I will have nothing to do with it.
You must have something to do with it, Alan, you must. All I ask of you is to perform a certain scientific experiment. You go to hospitals and dead houses. The horrors you do there don't affect you. If in some hideous dissecting room you found this man lying on a leaden table with red gutters scooped out for the blood to flow through, you'd simply look upon him as an admirable subject. You wouldn't turn a hair. All I'm asking you to do is merely what you've done many times before, and remember, it is the only piece of evidence against me. If it's discovered, I am lost, and it is sure to be discovered unless you help me.
I've no desire to help you.
Alan, I entreat you. You may know terror yourself someday. But don't inquire now. I have told you too much as it is. But I beg of you to do this for me. We were friends once, Alan.
Don't speak of those days, Dorian. They're dead.
The dead linger sometimes. The man upstairs won't go away. Alan, if you don't come to my assistance, I am ruined. They will hang me for what I have done.
I absolutely refuse. It's insane of you to ask me.
You refuse?
Yes.
I entreat you, Alan.
It's useless.
I am very sorry for you, Alan, but you leave me no alternative. I have a letter written already. Here it is. You see the address? If you don't help me, I must send it. If you don't help me, I will send it. You know what the result will be.
Dorian.
Come. Don't work yourself into a fever. This thing has to be done. Face it and do it. You must decide at once.
I cannot do it.
You have no choice.
Is there a fire in the room upstairs?
Yes, there is a gas fire with asbestos.
I must go home first. To get some things from the laboratory.
No, Alan, you must not leave the house. Write down on a sheet of notepaper the things you require. My manservant will take a cab and bring them back to you.
Yes, sir.
You are infamous. Absolutely infamous.
Gosh, you have saved my life.
Your life. What a life is that?
I wish you had 1,000th part of the pity for me as I have for you. Now, there isn't a moment to be lost. I don't think I can go in, Alan.
It's nothing to me. I shan't require you.
Wait.
Leave me. I'll do the thing you ask me. And now, let us never see each other again.
You have saved my life, Alan. I'll not forget that. Who are you? What do you want? Please don't hit me! What do you want?
Sybil Vane!
What do you want, money?
I'm going to kill you.
You're mad. What have I done to you?
Sybil Vane was my sister. She killed herself, I know it. Her death's at your door. I swore I would kill you. I'd no clue, no trace, knew nothing of you but some pet name she used to call you. So make your peace with God, for tonight you are going to die.
You're mad. I never heard of her.
You'd better confess your sins, for you are going to die.
No, please.
I give you 1 minute to make
Please.
your peace. 1 minute. That's all, no more.
How long ago was it when your sister died? Quick, tell me.
18 years. But why do you ask me? What do years matter?
18 years. Set me under the lamp and look at my face. No, don't hurt me, please.
My God. My God. And I would have murdered you.
Who's that? Dorian! My dear boy, what on earth are you doing here?
I was passing. I'd heard the studio was for sale. The door was open.
Where have you been hiding yourself all this time? I haven't seen you for weeks. Come, you must tell me.
No, Harry. I don't want to talk to you. I've done too many terrible things in my life, and I'm not going to do any more. I did my first good action yesterday.
Indeed. And where were you yesterday, may I ask?
I was staying at a small inn in the country by myself.
My dear boy, nobody can be good in the country. There are no temptations there. That is why all the people who live out of town are so absolutely uncivilized. Civilization is not by any means an easy thing to attain to. There are only two ways in which a man can reach it. One is by being cultured, and the other is by being corrupt. Country people have no opportunity of being either, so they simply stagnate.
Culture and corruption, I have known something of both, thanks to you. I am going to alter. I think I have altered.
Splendid, but you haven't yet told me what your good action was. Or did you perhaps do more than one? Come and sit down, Dorian, and tell me all about it.
Oh, very well, Harry. It is not a story I could tell to anyone else. Yesterday I spared somebody. Now that sounds conceited, but you understand what I mean. Hetty was simply a girl who lived in the village where I was staying. She was quite beautiful and wonderfully like that little actress, Sybil Vane. You remember Sybil Vane, don't you? How long ago that seems. Well, Hetty and I were to have gone away together this morning. We were perfectly in love. We adored each other. Suddenly, I determined to leave her just as I had found her.
I should think the novelty of the emotion must have given you quite a thrill of pleasure, Dorian. But I can finish your idyll for you. You gave her some good advice and broke her heart. That was the beginning of your reformation.
Harry, you are incorrigible. Hetty's heart is not broken. Of course, she cried and all that, but there's no disgrace on her. She can live.
My dear Dorian, you have the most curiously boyish moods. Do you imagine that this girl will ever be satisfied now with any one of her own station? I suppose she'll soon be married to some rough carter or grinning ploughman. And the fact that she's known you and loved you will teach her to despise her husband, and she will be wretched. From the moral point of view, I can't say I think very much of your great renunciation. Even as a beginning, it's poor.
No, Harry. Don't try to convince me that the first good action I've done for years, the first little bit of self-sacrifice I've ever known is really a sort of sin. I want to be better. I am going to be better. No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. What is going on in town?
Well, people are still discussing poor Basil's disappearance.
I should have thought they'd have got tired of that by this time.
My dear boy, they've only been talking about it for 6 weeks, and the British public is really not up to the mental strain of more than one topic every 3 months. They've been rather fortunate lately, however. They've had my own divorce case, and then that brilliant Alan Campbell's suicide. Now they have the mysterious disappearance of an artist. Scotland Yard insists that the man in the grey ulster who left for Paris on the midnight train was poor Basil. And the French police declare that Basil never arrived in Paris at all. I suppose in about a fortnight we shall hear that he's been seen in San Francisco. It's an odd thing, but people who disappear are always said to be seen in San Francisco. It must be a delightful city and have all the attractions of the next world.
And what do you think has happened to Basil?
I haven't the slightest idea. If Basil chooses to hide himself away, as you've been doing lately, it's no business of mine. If he's dead, I don't want to think about it. Death is the only thing that ever terrifies me. I hate it.
Why?
Because we can survive everything nowadays, except that. Death and vulgarity are the only two facts of the 19th century which one cannot explain away.
I was very fond of Basil. Don't people say that he was murdered?
Some of the newspapers do. It doesn't seem to me to be at all probable. I know there are dreadful places in Paris, but Basil was not the sort of man to go to them. He had no curiosity. It was his chief defect.
What would you say, Harry, if I told you that I had murdered Basil?
I would say, my dear fellow, that you were posing for a character that doesn't suit you. All crime is vulgar, just as all vulgarity is crime. You have not got it in you to commit a murder, Dorian. I'm sorry if I offend your vanity by saying so, but I assure you it's quite true. Crime belongs exclusively to the lower orders. I can't say I blame them for it in the smallest degree. I fancy that crime must be to them what art is to us, simply a method of procuring extraordinary sensations.
Don't, Harry. The soul is a terrible reality. It can be bought and sold and bartered away. It can be poisoned or made perfect.
You feel quite sure of that, Dorian?
Quite sure.
How grave you are. Don't be so serious. What have you and I to do with the superstitions of our age? We've given up our belief in the soul.
I am not the same, Harry.
Yes, you are. Just the same.
I am a little changed already.
You will never change for me, Dorian. You and I will always be friends. Tell me, if you can, how you have kept your youth. You must have some secret. You're quite wonderful, Dorian. You never looked better than you do this afternoon. You remind me of the first day I met you. You were rather cheeky, very shy, but absolutely extraordinary. You have changed, of course, but not in appearance. I wish you would tell me your secret. To get back my youth, I would do anything in the world. Except take exercise, get up early, or be respectable. Youth. There's nothing like it.
Goodbye, Harry.